Okay, so we've been anticipating like the news all week long, right, with the injuries on both these teams, specifically the Packers. And it feels like, we believe that Jones is going to play. He's still listed as questionable, running back for the Packers. Christian Watson has not played yet this year. It's trending in the right direction, still listed as questionable. Two of the key cogs, though, that are going to be out in this game, I think we knew this, but we were waiting to get official word, and it is official now, Paulie. Bakhtiari and Jenkins on that left side of the offensive line will be out. Meanwhile, for the Lions, they're missing an offensive lineman for tonight's game, and Taylor Decker is also questionable, so they have some guys that are banged up. The Packers are catching 1.5 at DraftKings. That's basically the number everywhere. There might be a 2 out there at some spots. At home in this spot as an underdog to Detroit. And Detroit, by the way, they've been very good against divisional opponents.
Cool. 10 in a row.
Well, and 6-0 ATS.
ATS is what I'm, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then since against conference opponents, they're 18-8 since 2021. So this run here by the Lions with Dan Campbell is quite something.
Yes, they've done a great job in the division. And Love is taking care of the ball so far. Green Bay only has 1 turnover on the season. The record is accurate. They should have beat Atlanta and should have lost last week, but it was a great job coming back down 17 with 11 minutes left. You know this very well because you're from the state and this rivalry and how long it goes back in the history. So I went down a rabbit hole yesterday, and it was fantastic. It took me back to my childhood. This is the first time since 1986 that the Lions are favored in Green Bay when the Packers had their starting quarterback. And just going through it was Randy Wright.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Anthony Delwig and Don Makowski. And
I like the Magic Man. Magic Man was good.
Oh, it was crazy looking at this. So then it was like when Detroit was good and Green Bay was a laughingstock, then you had Favre and Rodgers. And then there was the stretch where Green Bay beat them 24 in a row at home. And then Goff and Detroit ruined their season last year. They've beat them 3 in a row. They've been awesome going back, as we've said. They've cashed 10 in a row in the division ATS. And how they couldn't beat this team in Lambeau. And now they've had some success, and now here they are, favored. Which one of those games they were favored? It was the Matt Flynn game. Remember that? He stepped in for Rodgers in a meaningless game, threw 6 touchdown passes, and then Seattle gave him a bag.
That's how he got the contract.
He didn't even win the job.
Game.
Russell Wilson beat him out.
Yeah. Didn't he have like 450 yards passing in that game?
And 6 touchdowns, and then the Seahawks threw him a ton of money. And I think it was out of the league a couple years later. So this is nuts that this is the first time they're favored here since '86, and it's the starting quarterback going. They've scored 20 points, at least 12 games in a row. But Green Bay has been stingy here defensively. I know you were high on their defense, but 7 of their last 8 opponents have held the 20 points or fewer. So don't rush out there and bet the over either, because night games are 9-2 to the under and on a 49-24 run since last year. So an incredible run with these primetime games going under as well. You also have this funky scheduling spot here, too, for Green Bay. If you ever wanted your bye early, it's right now. Coming up for Green Bay, how it plays out.
Well,
you're banged up.
Yeah, high in all the injuries for sure.
That's right.
Yeah,
you're banged up. You're going to get some guys back. So you play tonight, then you play Monday night out here against the Raiders. Then you have your bye week. So they're going to play one game in 23 days.
Yeah,
with what it's going to look like here. So very important stretch here for the Packers. But again, all the hype, public team, great job to go into Kansas City and win to start the season, and a good win last week. But you host these guys on Thanksgiving. If they can win this game, again, this is just going to be an enormous win for Detroit, and they become huge favorites, in my opinion, to win the division.
Don't you think that the Lions have to be favored in this game tonight with the 2 offensive linemen out for Green Bay? Now, I'll have some projections on this a little bit later on in the show with the offensive line.
Yeah, we disagreed on what transpired Sunday. I was not impressed with Jordan Love. I know you're high on him, but I'm just saying this particular game. And that's a good defense. That's a top 5 defense. And he was awful for 3 quarters. Missed some guys, but there's some drops. You don't have guys in there, too. A
lot of drops.
Yeah, you have some guys in there, too. So we'll see what it looks like now with Watson and Jones. But full marks to him for coming back. But they had no business winning that game, but he made all the plays down the stretch. But they should be favored.
I think the Lions need to be favored here. Yep. There is still some unknown with Jordan Love. Jared Goff has turned into a guy that I know he had the pick 6 again against the Seahawks a couple of weeks back. But Jared Goff is a rock solid, very steady quarterback at this point of his career, and he's done a bang-up job. When you look at the DVOA on offense for both teams right now are in the top 10. And you knew that the Lions were going to be good this year anyway. Elite offensive line, good skilled guys, Goff being steady. They were number 7 overall last year. The Packers are 10th overall on DVOA on defense. The Lions are 12th. They had that wonky game against the Seahawks. Their defense was very good against the Lions. Yep. It was very good last week. A.J. Dillon is averaging 2 yards per carry. That's horrible. So if Jones is compromised at all tonight, you really can't rely on this guy to run the football. Also, think about this for a second. With Aaron Rodgers at quarterback last year for this team, they combined in the first game, they combined for 24 points. Mm-hmm. That was in Detroit. So good weather, dome. Then the final game of the regular season, that game combined for 36 points. Both games stayed way under the total last year.
They shut Rodgers down.
Yeah.
There were a lot of turnovers in that game in Detroit, but that's a good observation as well, what happened. So, last couple of weeks, he's thrown some interceptions. But the defense did an excellent job last week. But I'm very excited for this tight end matchup, too, with the rookies. Because Love blew it. I mean, he had Musgrave wide open for probably a touchdown or at least to play deep in New Orleans territory and missed him. And, Laporta's good, too. But, guys, if you can put that schedule back up again, what I was saying earlier, though, if Detroit gets this game, you haven't even played the Bears yet. You get Minnesota with that, stupid back end where they play them 2 times in 3 weeks. But, again, if Detroit can win this game, it's Cupcake City coming up. You get the Raiders at home. You would host Green Bay on Thanksgiving. It's a very manageable schedule the rest of the way for Detroit. And certainly they become huge favorites to win this division. As you look at this. If they win this game tonight, then you get Carolina, Tampa Bay. At Baltimore's tough. But then you go to you play the Raiders at home. And then the Bears, Packers, Bears again, Vikings. So... the Broncos, the Vikings are long gone and punt on the season.
No, at the Chargers, by the way, is a winnable game.
Sure, absolutely. But this is a very good team with high expectations. And as I said during all the summer, I'm not an Aaron Glenn fan, but if they do a good job and they're just average defensively, sky's the limit for this organization.
I would say that unit's performed quite admirably in 2 of their games.
I would agree.
So
no
far.
Doubt.
And, without the Goff pick 6 against Seattle. Who knows? Maybe they win that game.
Right.
I'm glad you brought up the tight ends. Opposing tight ends versus Detroit so far on the year. Week 1, there was no Kelsey. However, Noah Gray had 3 for 31. Blake Bell scored a touchdown in that game. The next week against the Seahawks, the Lions defense was exposed by the tight ends. Fant had 4 for 56. Parkinson, 2 for 41. Disley had 3 for 35. So their 3 tight ends combined to go 9 for 132. That's really strong out of that position. And then last week, the Falcons, with Ritter in their passing game, they never get Pitts involved. Well, he had 5 for 41. Jonnu Smith had 5 for 37. Pruitt had 1 for 10. So their 3 tight ends combined to go 11 for 88. You mentioned how Love absolutely missed Musgrave on that one spot last week. Is this the night where the rookie tight end maybe has a decent showing on national TV?
Yep. I think they both eat. Yes.
Laporta is
very good.
Very, very good.
I hope these rumors are true with Pitts to Dallas, by the way. I hope there's something to it. That would be awesome.
I just wanted him to get out of the Falcons completely, go anywhere else.
So
not the Jets, that'd be bad. But.
Right. So it looks like they'll have Montgomery back. So what do you want to do with Gibbs? And I just think almost a sure thing has been St. Brown because he gets so many targets. What he can do. He's not going to get it 90 yards tonight, 80 yards. They throw to him so many damn times.
His prop is low to mid 70s, and he's going to get the targets.
Yeah,
he's going to be the guy. The running back situation is too muddled.
I don't know. Right?
If Montgomery plays, how healthy is he going to be? And then do you want to fade Gibbs on that side? But it's a little tricky at this point to figure out. Although the thing is, again, that Lions offensive line I know they have the injuries, but on paper they're still really good. I like the defense too for the Lions on the front. Led by Hutchinson. Mm-hmm. They got some guys back there that the havoc is waiting to happen. And that left side of the Green Bay offensive line, without those 2 guys, a little tricky tonight. And again, if Jones, what if Jones is not 100%? The explosiveness from Dillon it's not there. It doesn't exist.
Right. That's the first big start for Love too here. Everyone's going to be watching, so we'll see how he does now with the pressure on as well.
I wanted to give the guy a chance. I'm not. How you can't be blown away at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to say he's been nice, but nothing great.
Yeah, I don't have enough to go on though.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I need to see him out there with his full arsenal of weapons.
Yeah, fun game, huge game.
That's right.
Absolutely for both sides.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.